Emergency readiness. Storms. Natural disasters. Toxic spills. Even terrorism. Unfortunately, these sorts of events happen all too frequently. Emergency responders rush into harm's way to aid, to secure, to help. But the truth is, they cannot do it alone. Effective emergency response requires dedicated volunteers.
Without the volunteers, you just wouldn't be able to do it. You look at the limited number of first responders that any community can have, on staff, paid. If something out of the ordinary happens, right away those people are overwhelmed. When we had the H1N1 flu outbreak, if it wasn't for our Medical Reserve Corps people, I just don't see how we could have, successfully and efficiently run those clinics.
Emergency response volunteers in Indiana are part of what is known as SERV-IN. SERV-IN is an electronic registration system and database of local, district, and statewide volunteer programs. One such volunteer program, which utilizes SERV-IN for volunteer management, is the Medical Reserve Corps, or MRC. For more information specifically about MRC units, visit www.medicalreservecorps.gov. This critical database of medical and non-medical volunteers can be called upon in those times of emergency. Here's how it works. Volunteers with medical and non-medical backgrounds pre-register using a web-based system so they can be called upon during an emergency situation in their community or anywhere in the state. The volunteers are then accepted by the local volunteer coordinator into a unit or category where they can offer assistance during an emergency response. As a part of the SERV-IN team, volunteers receive regular updates about training and preparation events, which will help them become even more effective when deployed to assist. When an emergency arises, members of SERV-IN will receive a text, email, or phone call alerting them of the situation and the opportunity to serve. Volunteers can always accept or decline based on their ability to respond to that specific event. If the assignment is accepted, volunteers get further information on the situation and where and when to report for service. Volunteers then report to the staging location to check in for their assignment. It may be chaotic when you arrive.
And the line is right over here.
Volunteers then work as directed on site. It is important to recognize that in disaster situations, things are inherently unpredictable. The mobilization may last from one day to a week or two. But again, the volunteers only commit to the amount of time they have to give. But typically, the more time you have to give, the better. When the emergency situation has been brought under control, the incident commander on site will determine when it is time for volunteers to demobilize and end their service. Volunteers will follow checkout procedures and return to their community. Volunteers often find the experience of helping their community in times of need some of the most rewarding hours they have ever spent.
There's a reason to be on Earth. We can all help someone in some way if we just choose to. So to me, it makes me feel better knowing that I can provide help to someone else.
There's nothing more rewarding than knowing that there's somebody out there hurting and you can give them a little comfort, a little help, steer them in the right direction and give them some comfort.
But things like Joplin, things like the hurricane, they happen and then people aren't prepared. And that's why I think it's so important that these students know what to expect and what the resources are and how they can get involved now. And one of the big ways is the Medical Reserve Corps.
We very much appreciate your interest in SERV-IN and hope you will become a part of our team. Remember, medical and non-medical volunteers are needed. For more information, go online or send an email to serv-in@isdh.in.gov.